Hey Over Sports, Jacob over here. In this video I'm going to talk a little bit about something non-sports related for once. And this is really the first video of its kind from this channel. I really don't uh, like talking about topics like this that aren't sports related because they just get too political and messy, and I really don't like to have to deal with that, you know. And this channel is created so because the people who follow me and subscribe to me all usually have the same common interests, and that's the Packers, Brewers, Bucks, and Badgers. But I feel like this issue is important for me to address just because it affects pretty much every single person who uses the internet in the entire country, and including myself, who I do make money off of the internet by making videos like this. So what I'm going to talk about today is net neutrality. And back in 2015, the Obama administration put some regulations, some net neutrality regulations on internet service providers that ensured equal access for every American to access the internet as they please. So long as, of course, you have an internet service provider. It made it so internet service providers can't charge you for the websites that you visit, and they can't charge you more and more for higher speed internet, and restrict your internet speeds for companies that won't pay certain fees to the internet service provider. When Donald Trump was elected president and inaugurated, he appointed a new chairman to the Federal Communications Commission, which is pretty much what controls things like net neutrality, also called the FCC, and that new chairman is Ajit Pai, who now plans on repealing those regulations put in place by the Obama administration back in 2015. And with repealing these regulations, it would allow internet service providers to charge you for websites as if they were a TV provider charging you for TV channels. There would be packages such as a social media package for a certain amount of money per month, a sports package for that would include sites like ESPN and NFL.com for certain amounts a month. Now, I'm not saying that any of this is going to happen for sure, but history has shown that internet service providers have done things like this, and under the repeal of these regulations put into place by the Obama administration, we would probably have some internet service providers doing things like this. And what's more is that the internet service providers could now charge certain companies like Netflix and Google to provide their content to us. And if Netflix and Google aren't willing to pay as much of these fees, then the internet service providers could then restrict our access to these websites by making them too slow to even access or blocking them altogether. In my opinion, I think the internet should be a free, open market for everyone to enjoy and everyone to have equal access to, and I don't believe that this is how it should be, that internet service providers should be able to charge us for certain packages of websites to access, and then charge certain companies to provide their services to us. And I just I don't agree with that at all, and I think it's rather dangerous for the internet. The internet has always been a place that pretty much everyone can access, and that everyone has the ability to access, and everyone has equal access for that matter. And with the repeal of these regulations, it would limit some people's ability to access certain parts of the internet. And in my opinion, if you pay for your internet service, you should be allowed to access anything you want on the internet. You shouldn't have to buy packages that restrict your ability to access certain websites. You shouldn't have to pay to access YouTube. You shouldn't have to pay to access ESPN.com or Facebook or Hulu or anything for that matter. So long as you're paying your internet provider for the internet access that you're getting, you shouldn't have to pay extra to access certain websites. In my opinion, that's ridiculous. Now, this is a graphic taken from a recent Huffington Post article that pretty much is an example of what you would have to be paying per month to access these certain websites. They would have certain packages, almost like a TV provider for certain websites. You would have a news package, a sports package, a social media package, and really it's just ridiculous. People who are against net neutrality would tell you that that deregulating the internet service providers would create more competition, and in turn would create more internet service providers in general, and which would result in more Americans having access to the internet. But what does that really mean if we all have limited access to the internet? I would have to pay more to use websites like YouTube so I could make my videos. I would have to pay for Twitter and YouTube and ESPN.com and Yahoo and everything like that, and streaming services especially like Netflix and Hulu would skyrocket in prices because they would be being forced to pay more fees so that the internet service providers would provide their content to us. And I really just don't agree with any of this, and I really think that net neutrality is an important part of our free access to the internet, and I don't believe that it should be repealed. Now, I can't say for certain whether or not your internet service provider is going to make you pay for certain packages of websites, or increase or decrease your internet speed based on how much the company you're trying to access is willing to pay your internet service provider. But I can say that if these regulations are repealed, then it would allow internet service providers to do this to certain people, and in the past they have been known to do this to certain people. And I just believe that every American, every person in the entire world for that matter, should be able to access the internet and access the websites they want to access and have equal access to those websites, and without having to pay extra to access them. And that's why I encourage everyone who's watching this video to go out and try and make a difference. Call your congressmen and women. Go out there and attempt to make your voice heard. That's why I'm making this video. And the repeal vote is on December 14th, and more than likely it's going to pass, but that doesn't mean that we the people have to stand for it. So go out there, try to make a difference, make your voice heard. And that's really all I have to say on the topic, guys. So anyways, thanks for watching. This is a really different kind of video I made, but I really feel like I said I should have said something about this, and I'm glad that I made a video like this, because this is a very important part of our society now because of the impact of the internet. And this is a lot more important than it was even just a few years ago, because the internet is it's never been as big as it is now. And without net neutrality, the internet service providers would be able to charge you for things that you shouldn't be charged for extra. So anyways, that's my thoughts on it. If you have any differing opinions, I'd be more than welcome to hear them, just so long as you're not rude or negative or anything like that. But anyways, guys, thanks for watching. I appreciate you watching this video. If you're new here, make sure to leave a like and subscribe, and see you next time.